Due to this particular subject being multi-threaded and complex, it raised many threads that made it very difficult to compress 1.5 hours of detail into 14 minutes. This was the beginning of recognizing the terminating R, which is when you got a word and the R is sitting in the middle of it. Normally this becomes a passage through the spine of R, but there are cases when it must terminate, and in the word such as Arzu, detecting it somewhere here, and that this word is a corrupted potential compound on top. The rest of the 14 minutes are just the raw notes. It's not possible to structure the notes of this time in a hyper-compressed format when it's multiple chapters. Already listed that as the keynote, and also the introduction of the ligature that begins to assimilate with the Cyrillic ts. So there's a bit of background notes on that as well. In the meanwhile, this word Arzu was incredibly painful to target. It's unresolved. In light of the creation of this, that DT ambiguity, followed by the Z-shaped S, this block, it's as though it has to go in there. So its spelling would be A-R-D, and I am not sure what's happening in this part, in this half, but it's foreign and not sitting as a standard suffix. At this stage, I can't truly apply my tooling into it because there's a shitload of what the hell happened in here. There could have been an A in there, but it's multi-directional. It's like a cross-pollinated, multilingual what the hell happened there. And that will clarify deeper by consulting with the proximity languages that also share that ard forms of that as a root or a core word concept. And I'm pissed off that this has taken an eternity to express myself when I had to be brief. Another fuckerment point. I'm currently in transcription mode again. Trouble with Arzu. The word is acquired in the later stage of life, not while I was a child. It generates immediacy, more of my father's side, easterly, southeast towards Azerbaijan direction. Trouble pronouncing ARZ or ARS. The trouble is with the R again. A word like Mars, where that IR becomes the Aussie ah. I'm saying Mars, but there is this curling towards an R, but it's not quite landing on an R, and that's what makes this section difficult, requiring a crutch. However, with this section, due to the O and the being a classic oscillating vowel, that's what's happened across a lot of Turkic tongues. Some people travel through the O, others travel through the but at the end of the day, it doesn't impact the comprehension because they are belonging to the same primary arc. The trouble here is I originally opted for the uru, but feel it could be uru. The word sits as close to family, but it sits outside of the Turkic core circle, and I'm detecting flare of southeast. So that's swinging towards the Persiatic side of the spectrum, though it could have an actual root from the southwest Arabesque. What is this? Ars, ars. Arz. What is that? In the dictionary, this Arz is sitting as a root. However, it's coming across as a homophone, carrying more than one meaning. One definition is relating to land, soil, geographical latitude. I'm familiar with Arazi that is connected to land. But there's another Arazi, and the dictionary is telling me to see Araz, and then that's where the word Arz becomes like a shortened version of Aras. It's as though Arzu should have been Arazu. And then I can pass through this more comfortably through the ura. And this is where this tool becomes another type of informant for me with trying to find smooth passage. So here, Arazu instead of Arzu, Urazu. And here in this section, I'm detecting is that Cyrillic type of TS. Where is that? It's like a U shape, a little tag. Is it this one? And then I'm stressing because is that the capital? Which one's the lowercase? So let's insert that one. Arzu, su. Is that TS being triggered because it's traveling from an S type of a position into this U. In my tongue, I feel the passage should have been Arazu, but it turned into Arzu because somebody shrunk the aras. Let's see if there's an aras. Yeah, and the aras, its use was rare, meaning accident, accidental, symptoms, and then the word arazi, accidental, not essential. And this is the trouble with the homophonic bullshits, where you got the same sounding word, but it's carrying more than one meaning, which is very divergent, and they're not semantically or conceptually close to each other. Difficulty articulating Z. Is that an S or a Z in my mouth? It really has to be. Doesn't fucking matter because they're exactly the same paradigm. I do like how it's resolved typographically in this instance, but a fairly accurate visual representation. It's a Z-shaped S, the same way I have the SH-shaped S and the S-shaped S, which is like a double S state. I'm not having any resolution with the word arzu, uzu. It wants to go but it's not feeling right here. Urazu. And it's like, look at the damn irony here, where if that's supposed to be representing the TS, yet my convention here is almost looking the same. Oh, what the fuck, Cookie. It's rare that this part transporter extends into a double form. What instances have I had to resort to this double extended transporter of extending into the u, and what are the odds it's crashing into this tsu ending versus what other endings is triggering my need to extend that part. Uyukunus, uyukun. Okay, that went into a u. It's passing through the glockenspiel, but towards a u. There's gonna be a u on the other side of the consonants. Yeah, here you go. Another case into the S and the U. Here it's a U, and the N, it's a U, oyun, oyunu, into a U, mut, ulu, instead of ulu. So this is important. That's why it has to extend into the U, and it can't travel through the U to another surge going into a U. This R is causing an issue. Ura, and that is not okay. It has to be an extended form. The U is governing that transporter to extend into the longer form. So let's just try it through this Latin. No, there's your problem there. You detected the split over here, but it was supposed to be in there. Alright, let's just try to work with it. Uzu, R. Yes, it's terminating here. That's why it's a terminating R. So the root in this situation is not R's, but closer to R. Is there an R? Yes, R is a measure of land, similar to the English, where this R is like hectare, land measure of 100 square meters. So there's your fuckament there. Complication. The actual root sitting with the R there is explaining why I'm carrying a hangnail, able to perceive the corruption of roots, the failure to learn certain roots, and yet why is it in a word like this I'm perceiving familial, family level closeness through the sound. What a frustration, but I was correct in ability to perceive. Hang on a minute, I think it's actually terminating here, and that is the function of a terminating R. So this is the first instance of me seeing it going at this level as a hangnail. This becomes a critical welding point with the Cyrillic territory. I'm experiencing a strong calling to find a way to convert this one into something that still carries the echo of this Z-shaped S. Arzu, Arzu. Difficult hangnail. I don't call it completely resolved, but it's very close, and recognizing the termination happening here, where when it's a terminating R, it definitely is crashing and finishing right here. When it's a terminating R, it doesn't have to do any passage through to another vowel. Whoa. The transporter was looking like a U with a dongle thing, and this is where I would need to review this Cyrillic. How many times is this letter triggered in other languages because it's some kind of an S shape traveling towards U, and that's where there is deeper assimilation with this character, because in the visual communication I can see this was like some kind of an S that needed to travel into an U shape. I'm now being triggered to entertain ligature design, trying to resolve this issue typographically. So to wrap up, this word Arzu, desire, I need to research the Arabic. How's the Arabic pronounced? Ard. It's not Arz, it's more Ard. Sorry for my mispronunciation, but yeah, it's traveling towards a D type of a tone, not Z. So this Z is coming from Rus direction, come from the north. I can't let it go. There's something still though just really pissing me off with it. Ara is like search. I fused with Ara as a root, and I've got another complication with Arzu, which means bee. But when I'm needing to reach for the meaning of search, I'm gonna say arı sometimes. Arıyorum. Mesela arıyorum, arayacağım, arı, arı, Important to note with the ura, son, ura, they spell it like that, but in my mouth it's definitely a damn ura. Son, ura. I think that's a weird neutral type of an N, but kind of towards the W. And here we got a case of, oh no, ouch, you got a crash in your typography here. And when this crash occurs, that to me is gonna be signaling we have no through road type of situation. Whenever the typography does this, I know there's another damn hangnail, because I know how hard I work trying to create my Chinese shovel here. So this is an outside, and yeah, it's because of this O is a foreign vowel in my system, and it is like an extended O, so maybe that's why I'm really inclined to add that space so the shovel doesn't crash into my letter. Son ura, back to the meaning of the ura, towards, character. Yeah, I looked up ura the other day. I think it meant character of, and then it's headed towards that. The brain has not been brainwashed for Turkish alphabetical order, so there's difficulty working out which one is first, the E or the U. Whoever chose the damn Times Roman font for this dictionary, it's failing, it's losing detail, it's not surviving. Obsolete, means song. C, şarkı. Ira, biological character, nature. Then you got Iraq, which is Iraq, but it also means being far away. Similar to afterwards, as there is a ire in the language. I now have to go check that one, because that ire becomes more Persian. So many times it's kind of safe to assume it is Persian automatically. I have gone down this rabbit hole before. There's no through way. There's iras, which is now obsolete, swerving, refraining. People have encoded with the visual language differently. They have not encoded in a uniform fashion. That's why I need to do this. for me. So at least I've got a system that's consistent as possible. The language of my spoken word out of my mouth is not the same as my hearing language, and that's not going to be the same as the visual language. In the vision, hearing, and the mouth, that's 3 different types of languages. I'm facing the handicap of my ears might be able to recognize your language, but you won't be able to hear that through my mouth because my mouth has been contorted, not physically able to speak the mother tongue from the source, from the land of the mother tongue. I'm not able to speak that. The written word becomes my Bible. I have to design it so that at least I know where I'm sitting in terms of the type of sound it should make. That's all I'm seeking through it. I still can't let go of this issue with the Arzu. Confirming my pronunciation is anchoring with Arzu. There is a problem in this section here, confirming there was strong resonance with words such as ardından, arttı, yeah, and there is hiccup with the and Arzu. Something has happened. It does terminate here. And it's as though the Utzu is a different word, not an actual suffix. I need to question, is this a compounded corruption? A distortion in the signal. Something has distorted this section in the middle here. And that's where calibrating with other people will help. Feeling very frustrated with how just this one word, because the art, su. Alright, here we go again. Another tangent is the tsu. This sound here that's flinging north, far east towards China. That's a key for Chinese-esque through the tsu. I am carrying the recog over here for that sound. My ears can pick it up, but my mouth is going to struggle to communicate. Doing my best to just move forward, and my voice is getting cracked.
Get used to it!